Hello class. Today we are going to learn about a type of pattern that is called a Zentangle pattern. And you might have seen this word before, or you might have seen these different kinds of patterns. They're pretty popular right now in coloring books. And a Zentangle pattern is a structured type of pattern. And they usually have more than one part to them. For example, these are different kinds of Zentangle patterns. And you can see that instead of it just being one thing over and over again, for example, just a straight line over and over again, it might be something where you have a zigzag line and then horizontal lines and vertical lines in it. Or you might have ovals with dots inside and dots around it. Or you might have curved lines that have little dots at the ends. So a Zentangle pattern is a type of pattern that usually has several parts to it to make up the pattern. And oftentimes there are different names for these different types of patterns as well. Okay, today our project is going to be to use a Zentangle pattern inside of a drawing of a rooster. So the first thing we're going to do is practice drawing a couple of different Zentangle patterns. Then we're going to draw our rooster, and after that we're going to add the Zentangle pattern inside of the parts of the rooster. For this project you're going to need a piece of white paper, a piece of colored paper, a smaller piece of white paper, your pencil, that's for the practice of the Zentangle patterns. You'll need several colored pencils, and it will be up to you what colors you choose to use on your pattern. You're going to need a pair of scissors and some glue. Alright, let's get started with our practice of the Zentangle patterns. First, I'm going to be using the small piece of white paper for the practice of the patterns. And we're going to practice 4 different types of patterns on here. At the top of this paper, I'm going to write the word Zentangle. Okay, so it is spelled Z-E-N-T-A-N-G-L-E. Then I'm going to make 4 spaces on this paper that I'm going to draw a pattern inside of. You don't need to use a ruler for drawing these spaces. If they're just kind of square or kind of rectangle, they will work. And this is practice. It's going to be on the back of your work, so you don't have to worry about it looking perfect. Okay, now in each of these spaces I'm going to draw a different kind of Zentangle pattern. And oftentimes people have names for different types of Zentangle patterns. So for 3 of these patterns I know the name. And the first one is called corner box. And as you might have guessed, it looks like a corner of a box. So the first part of making this pattern is to make some diagonal lines, and I want to space them apart so that they're not too close together, otherwise it will be difficult to draw the pattern inside. Okay, now I'm going to make 3 lines that are diagonal going the other way. And now you will notice that it has turned into diamond shapes. And in each of these diamond shapes, I'm going to draw some angled lines. So I'm going to start here on the bottom. Of course, that one's a triangle. And I'm going to draw an angled line that comes up close to the top corner and then comes down again, like this. Then I'm going to draw a second angled line inside of that, so I follow it again, going up and coming down. And the rest of the space on the bottom I will fill in. Okay, so that's one little corner that I've done. Now I'm going to show you how the rest of them work. So in this one, it's going to look pretty much the same as this one. I make an angled line, it comes up towards the corner and back down. Up towards the corner and back down. Okay, now I've got two angled lines and I fill in the bottom part. Okay, now I'm going to do this one here because this will be pretty easy to understand as well. So this is the whole diamond shape, and I'm going to make an angled line just like I did with these ones. I go up close to the top and come back down. That's my two angled lines, and I fill in the rest. Alright, you're probably starting to figure out what to do, so you would know what to do with these ones right here, because these ones you can see either the whole diamond shape or most of it. So I'm going to do those ones next. Okay, now the tricky part might be to figure out what to do if you only have part of it on the side or on the top. Okay, if you're on the side here, you can imagine as if the rest of that diamond shape is over here. So I'm not drawing it because it's outside of that space, but it's coming up close to the top of this one, and then it comes back down. So I make a diagonal line. And one more. Then I fill in the rest. Alright, you know what to do with this one. Diagonal line, diagonal line. Fill in the rest. Okay, if it's on this side, it's just the opposite way. So I make my diagonal lines on the other side and fill it in. Okay, now for the top part right here. This is a little bit trickier because you only see the bottom. So if you can see what it looks like, if I was to cover up the top part, you can only see a little piece of the line right there. So I go like this, tiny diagonal lines, tiny diagonal lines, and fill in the bottom part of it. All right, one more. Tiny diagonal lines. Tiny diagonal lines.